When I was 21, started driving taxis. I just dropped someone off for £3.20 and then I closed a deal for £10,000 and I was thinking, I'm in the wrong game.
How much do you make on average a month?
10k.
By the time you're my age, you'll probably be richer than I am.
You first get into property, you think that you've got to have a load of money to get involved, but deal selling costs nothing.
How much was the last property that you purchased?
£39,500.
What would you say has been the biggest struggle then? I'm sat here with Jordan Jones, who owns how many properties now?
7.
7 properties that you actually own. And you're how old?
25.
Dude, by the time you're my age, you'll probably be richer than I am. I'm looking forward to that day. Property millionaire.
Yes.
Respect. How much do you make on average a month?
10k.
About 10 grand a month.
10 grand a month.
Full time in property now?
No.
Oh, you still have a job?
No, yeah.
What's your job?
We still have a taxi firm that I'm fully involved with. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's...
What's your involvement with that? Do you do a lot of driving? Or?
Yeah, so at the moment I'm covering a run, but usually we have drivers that work for us. Depending on how busy we are,
Yeah.
I'll jump on and have to do.
What do you think? Do you think people will be shocked, when you're just like driving them around, if you're having to cover a run and you pick them up and you're the taxi driver, do you think they'd be shocked if they knew that you're a property millionaire and you own 7 houses?
Maybe, yeah, I think so.
I think so. So you've come all the way from Swansea today to tell us your story, which I really appreciate. And I'm sure that the viewers are going to learn a lot from this because everyone wants to own properties. But the problem is the average property price is about, 250 grand. Saving the deposits is not easy. But I know you've been recycling your money using buy, refurbish, refinance. So what's your background?
So
First job?
First job I left school had an apprenticeship down the Swans. So I was playing football. Was there for 2 years. Well, I was there since I was 7.
Yeah.
So worked my way through the academy.
So you're playing like professionally?
I was playing, professionally, yeah. So then...
What team were you playing for?
Swansea City.
Okay.
So,
cool.
But then in my second year as a scholar, a bad injury. I had 2 operations, had to stop playing altogether. So then kind of left there, was umming and ahhing with what to do then, whether I was going to go to uni and study business, work with my dad or a few other things that I was thinking of. Ended up going with my dad. My dad was like, don't go to uni. Come and work with me, I'll teach you business type thing. Yeah. Went there, was doing all sorts of jobs initially, labouring for him when he was in his projects, painting, all sorts. Then I moved into, when I was 21, started driving taxis. So I was driving 5 to 6 times a week, 12-hour shifts, picking up all different types of characters, to deal with all different types of people. So that was good. I felt like that was good for me. Some people may have thought that I had taken a step backwards because I was driving taxis instead of playing football. But for me, I felt like it put me on the right path to now go and explore all different types of, in property or in business altogether. I feel like it helped me a lot.
When we met, you already owned a few properties. So you started buying properties just the very traditional way. And then you came to the crash course. When was your first crash course?
A year ago yesterday.
A year ago yesterday?
Yeah.
What happened when you came to the crash course?
So me and my pal came. I came a little bit ignorantly, really, because I was like, I got a bit of property. I kind of know what I'm doing type thing.
Yeah.
I came and then you were just going off with loads of different stuff. And every time you would say something, me and my friend would look at each other as if to say, we know nothing, or I know nothing, So we ended up then signing up for the advanced training. And we were just on a high. I've been on a high ever since, really, to be honest.
Yeah, for the last year, you've just been going aggressively buying. And you've not just got BRR properties, you've also been doing some bit of deal selling, packaging and selling BRR deals. Yeah. So tell me, what is the difference between buying a property and renting it out, like a buy-to-let, and buy, refurbish, refinance? What's the difference in philosophy?
So with buy, refurbish, refinance, you initially buy the property cash, whether it be through actual cash or a bridge. You'll then add value through a refurb. You'd refinance then at the higher value. So you'd use 75% of that would come back to you. Yeah. And hopefully recycling most of your money to use that again and again and again. Yeah. And then with the buy to let, obviously you're just putting down 25% of the purchase prices just to rent out.
So buy to let, you're basically sinking your money in for good. Whereas with buy, refurbish, refinance, you're putting money in. Maybe it's not even your money. Maybe it's a bridge, or you've raised the finance, increasing the value of the property, and then getting a new mortgage and getting paid back, and then recycling that way. Definitely. So where are your properties based?
All in Swansea.
Right.
So all my properties in Swansea.
Is that a good area, do you think?
I feel like it is a good area. It's a good area to buy. Prices are not too extortionate. You can pick up some bargains.
How much was the last property that you purchased?
Last one was £39,500.
Wow, that is a bit of a bargain.
That one was a bit of a steal though.
Yeah.
It was up for 50. Wasn't a lot of interest on it. It was around October time. I put an offer in for £39,500. Didn't really expect it to be accepted. Said to the estate agent, look, I'm offering this on the Friday. I said by the Monday it's gone. It's only over the weekend, let the vendor think of it, because I got other offers on the table type thing. She came back to me on the Monday afternoon and said, oh look, your offer's been accepted. But at the time I had no money because all my money was tied up. So then I kind of went home to my parents and was like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I've had an offer accepted on this property. I'm probably going to have to package and sell it on. So then I was just explaining what the property was, how much it was. I also mentioned that I'd be looking to maybe bring an investor on board and give them 10% return on investment after I refinance. Told them about the deal, kind of left it stew, and I was like, oh, I'm going to have to try and find finance. So I remember going upstairs and my dad called me and he was like, what's this? Talk to me about the deal again. So he ended up putting the money in for that deal.
Nice. Yeah. And that's the way we do it on the academy, bro. Because the thing is as well, when you're raising finance, you shouldn't ever, you've probably heard me say this before, you shouldn't ever have to ask for money.
No.
Instead, it's about just sort of showing what you've got. Oh, I've got this opportunity. I'm going to be pitching it to some investors. I wondered if I could just, run it past you, get your thoughts and stuff, or practice my pitch.
Yeah.
And then often you'll find out, like, I'd be interested.
Yeah.
Nice. So your dad put in the funds for it on the
Yeah.
basis that you'd give him a fixed return.
Yeah, 10% return when I refinance now. So refurb was around, with fees all in, that was about 33,000, 34,000.
Right.
So, and GDV is 125.
Damn.
So
125 grand.
I think I was putting 15 grand off the top
Yeah.
after refinance. So,
So you put all your money out and
plus, yeah.
Jeez. Well, yeah, you would, because if let me do the math now. If the end value now is 125, have you started the refinance process yet?
Yeah, got a valuer coming in next Friday, I think it is.
Yeah. So 125 times 75, because they'll give you 75%, means you'll pull out 93 grand. So you'll get a new mortgage of 93, but you only put in 75.
Yeah.
And you paid no stamp duty, presumably.
No stamp duty.
How are you going to rent that out? Family?
It's going to be a 6-guest SE.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
6 guest SA. How many bedrooms does it have?
3.
So how are you going to rent it to 6 people?
2 single beds in each bedroom.
And what type of person would be renting that then? Who's going to
Contractors mainly.
Yeah.
That's what we found has been best for us. Contractors, so yeah.
And how much money do you expect to profit from that one property? I know you've got 7, but from that one, how much do you expect to make a month?
£1,000 to £1,500. See?
As I can see now, you came to the crash course thinking, I know about property, I know about buy-to-let, and you're sort of like, actually, I know nothing.
Yeah.
Buy, refurbish, refinance, serviced accommodation, new valuations. It's like a minefield, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah.
Epic. What does your dad think then? What do your parents think about what you've achieved?
Obviously, they're very happy from what's happened, but initially, it was more like, are you sure you want to do this now? My dad was kind of making jokes saying, I'm your mentor type of thing. You don't need Samuel Leeds. I'm going to help you with this and that. But I was talking to him, and obviously he invests the traditional way, just buying cash and doesn't refinance or anything. Adds value, but doesn't refinance.
Right.
So I'm like, Dad, you could have 10x'd your portfolio if you had done buy, refurbish, refinance. Like after a few months, I'd be working upstairs, doing the training, my figures, blah, blah, blah. And after a few months, no success. And they were like, oh, any deals? There's much happening, is it going to work? Blah, blah, blah. Do you think you're going to do it? And I was like, don't know. Just kept working away. And then finally breakthrough came then where things started happening, yeah.
Also as well, when you're finding BRRs, even if you haven't got the money to put in, as you said, you can always package and sell it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know recently you sold a couple of deals just this last month.
I sold 2 in November and 1 last month.
And what were they and how much did you charge?
They were BRR. So one was just a straight 3K, no management fee.
You just charged 3 grand.
3 grand.
Said, here you go, you can have it.
Yeah. So he took that on. Then another one was 3K sourcing, 2K management. So I'm managing the refurb for that one. And then...
So 5 grand in total, but you're going to have to oversee the refurb.
Yes, yeah. And then last month was another deal. but I managed to sell that one for 10,000
10 grand cash
cash. Yeah,
in the bank.
in the bank.
How did you manage to justify 10 grand sourcing fee? Sounds like a lot. Who's going to pay you 10 grand for finding a deal?
I know. Initially, I thought that myself, but after speaking to the mentors and a few people within the academy, I was kind of like, well, in this property, when my investor refinances, he's going to pull £13,000 off the top with my 10k sourcing fee in there. So he's going to make 13 grand and have the property and also pay me £10,000.
So it makes sense for him.
Makes sense for him.
What are the figures on that deal then? So how did you find it?
Through an agent.
Right.
So the same agent. I've done 4 deals this year with the same agent. It was 75k purchase,
Right.
74,500, 40k refurb, and GDV is around 195.
Nice. So again, work the numbers backwards. First, you're going to look at the GDV, the gross development value, the end value. So end value 195. Times that by 75%, which is the new mortgage, that's 146. And he's buying it for 95.
74,000.
74. And putting
40K.
in how much for the refurb?
40,000.
Which you're going to be managing and overseeing. So when he gets his 146 back, he's got all his money back, plus 13 grand. So it's just an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah.
How do you work out the end value? If you're looking at a property in Swansea and it's a real wreck and it needs to be refurbished, how are you looking at it and confidently saying that's going to be worth 190, that's going to be worth 180, that's going to be worth 250? How do you know that?
So first of all, I speak to 3 different agents in the area, go through what they think the end value would be on that property. Then I would obviously just go through the formula that you've given us, and then I would work my numbers through that. Mainly, I would do 3-4 times going through that, different properties, but mainly would be through the way
Just going through square footage, average
footage,
within the quarter of a mile. Go through.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about the refurb? What happens if you start pulling stuff back and it's like, oh man, there's a lot more than we hoped for? How do you get a clear idea of how much the refurb's going to be?
Whenever I go to a viewing, I'll take my builder with me. So my builder will come, and then within there will be like a 5% contingency where if there's any other little niggly things, then we can go through that with the investor, and that's in with the price.
So you got your end value, you got your refurb, and then I guess it's just negotiating the purchase price. Is it easy in this market to get banging deals? Is it hard?
It all depends, really. I found that we got this deal around Christmas time. I don't think many people were trying to buy around Christmas time.
Yeah.
It's kind of an uncertain time in the market, really.
It's a great time to buy as an investor, though.
Of course. I was pretty surprised that there wasn't many other people involved in buying the property that I sold last month, but we were lucky that we got it for that price, and great, you know.
And I guess the more offers you put forward, the luckier you'll get about finding a motivated seller with the refurb that needs to be done. Are these properties that you're buying, are they unmortgageable when you buy them?
Yeah.
So you can't get a mortgage. So you're not competing with first-time buyers. You're not competing with buy-to-let investors. They're unmortgageable. It has to be cash.
Yeah.
But then you're bridging.
Well, I haven't used bridging.
But your investors probably will. Or are they just buying cash?
Buying cash.
Right.
So far, yeah.
I guess if you've got cash, it's even easier.
Yeah.
But if you haven't got cash, you can still then get bridging,
of course,
which will bridge the gap.
Yeah.
So this is just part of your journey, though, because you've also been doing rent to rent.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, so in October, me and 2 of my business partners, we were flirting with the idea for quite a while. And then 2 properties came on where I knew the landlord, and we were kind of started speaking to him about it softly, just saying, oh, how's it going with your properties? And he was saying, oh, I'm having a nightmare with tenants and stuff like this. So I kind of pitched him on if you want, my business will take over the property. We'll give you guaranteed rent, happy to sign for 3 years with a 6-month break clause. We'll keep the property in pristine condition. Obviously, we'll be looking to rent the property then on Airbnb, Booking.com, but mainly for contractors in the area. And then he was kind of like, well, one of my properties is in pretty bad condition, needs painting, carpets, cleaning. So I kind of said, look, well, you know, we're happy to take it on with problems in place. So yeah, we took it on, painting it late nights type of thing, put new carpets in. My mate's got a flooring business, so he kind of put the carpets in. And then, yeah, I've kind of scaled from there then. I took on them 2. Took on 2 more last month, and then another one this month.
So you've got 5 rent to rents.
I've got 5, yeah.
And that first property then, how much did you have to spend on the refurb?
I think we spent about £1,500 all in.
So not a massive amount of money.
No, but obviously we paid deposit and rent up front.
Yeah.
And then it was £1,500. We did a lot of the work there ourselves.
How much rent are you paying to the landlord?
$850.
850 a month
850
over a 3-year
Yeah.
agreement. And is that renting all right?
That's doing quite well, yeah. So we were pretty lucky. We ended up securing international clients. So just from Airbnb, they got in contact with us, and now we've housed 18 of their contractors, or 18 of their workers,
Nice.
into our property. So yeah.
So how much does that one property make a month?
That one property, I think that one makes like 800.
£800.
Yeah.
But across the 5,
Across the 5. Last month it was £6,500,
solid.
and then this month it'll be £7,500.
Nice. So you've got your money from rent to rents. You've got your money from deal selling.
Yeah.
You've also got your 7 properties that you own yourself. So you've done incredible. And just at 25, I mean,
Yeah.
does it feel surreal, or do you?
Kind of now looking back, when I like look at actually what I've done over the last, especially the last year, I feel it feels good.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So
What
thanks.
advice would you give yourself from like 2 years ago if you were talking to your 2-year younger self?
I would say just, obviously initially I've come into contact with you through, I think it was Instagram or whatever, was just go to the £1 crash course and go from there, because that's where I feel like it all started for me. And I was like, well, I knew nothing. Like I said, I knew nothing until that point. And then I think just taking action, just diving in and trying to do it, because that's where I feel like I've learned the most.
Yeah.
Initially I was kind of just doing the training, going through the motions type thing.
Yeah.
And then until I've actually done the actual deed, so say, that's what I've learned the most, I feel.
And it's the same with anything, isn't it? Like when you learn to drive, you can read the theory book all day long, but until you get in the car and just do it, you don't properly know it. How's the academy been then over the last sort of 10 months?
I've really, unbelievable. I've met some friends for life in Ian, Harrison, Kurt Sherlock, Dean, Gil, Jan. I could go on. Yeah, there's so many people that I've connected with and have helped me along my journey. So yeah, for me now, it's just trying to reach out to new academy members, try and help them on, if I can help them in any way. So it's been amazing.
What is next then? What's going to be the focus over the next year?
I think for me personally now, I want to try and grow my personal brand, bring in more investors on board, hopefully giving a fixed return to them and using their money to buy more properties.
More BRRs.
More BRRs. Maybe scaling up as in commercial properties.
Yeah.
Because I don't want, 15, 20 of the same property. I want to kind of, as you teach, try to scale up every deal bigger. But then it's hard then. Like when I seen the last deal for £39,500, I was like,
oh yeah,
how can I say no?
Yeah, you can't say no.
So,
you can't. What drives you then, Jordan? What is it that kind of gets you up in the morning, and what's your strongest reason for doing this?
I don't know. I just think from my parents, mainly from the way that I've seen them come from type of nothing, the way that my dad's worked tirelessly. I used to, I used to go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning. He'd be up doing invoicing or something work related, go home and he's always doing something as well. So I think obviously wanting to live up to his standards, as in I'm pushing myself to do well, but then mainly I think it's to leave something for when hopefully in years to come when I have children, to give them the best start in life. So yeah, that's similar to what I had. So yeah.
That's epic. So what would you say has been the biggest struggle then, the biggest challenge? Because it's obviously not all been smooth sailing. I'm sure you've had hiccups and problems along the way. What's been some of the challenges?
I think initially for me, it was getting myself out there with investors. About 3 months ago, I was kind of thinking, well, what am I going to do? Because I haven't really got many investors. And that's when I kind of came on the mastermind, started coming on the mastermind every week and talk.
I remember you suddenly started speaking up.
Yeah. So once I started telling people about what I'm doing, that's when I feel like it started to really kick off for me, and people started to trust in what I was doing. And then the people that I'd been helping in the past, kind of like just helping them along, talking about BRR, they are the people that have ended up investing with me then.
Yeah.
So
how does it feel to just like make 10 grand from selling one deal? Just bang.
It was a bit surreal at the time. I was in the taxi, so I was driving. I just dropped someone off for, I think it was like £3.20. Helped her with all the shopping, and then I got in the car and then I closed the deal for £10,000, and I was thinking, what am I doing? Like I'm in the wrong game now.
Yeah, now it's time. Maybe you go full time.
Yeah.
Will you go full time, or do you just enjoy helping your dad?
I'm hoping to. I want to obviously help him in his business as much as I can, because he's kind of grown his business massively. But he's a bit of a like control freak, to be honest with you. Like he doesn't really delegate a lot because he feels like he's the main focus. Everything goes through him. If anything, no one does it better than him type thing as well.
I think we need to get your dad on the academy next.
Yeah.
Sounds like a successful guy. I'm sure he'd be able to 10x what he's doing.
Yeah, definitely.
And he certainly helped you out
Yeah.
a lot and giving you, you know, that initial kind of mentorship.
Yeah, definitely.
And guys, what did your family think when you went to the crash course? Because
yeah, they were kind of just initially saying, oh, you know, don't buy anything stupid. Don't make sure it's not a scam.
yeah,
Don't waste your money, blah, blah, blah. And then I came home and I was like, they were like, how was it? I said, oh, I was obviously couldn't hide my emotions. I was like, oh, it's amazing. I was like, I bought a course. They were like, oh, flipping heck, course? What's on the course? What are you going to do?
yeah.
And then, yeah, kind of told them initially it was £1,000. And then
It was only $1,000 and a little bit more.
A little bit more. And then initially they were a bit skeptical. And then
Yeah.
obviously now they understand why.
The thing is though, when you've got people investing into your deals, I think it's very difficult to expect people to invest in your deals when you won't first invest in yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you invest in yourself and you're around all these other people that have all invested, you know what to say, you know what to do, you're in the right environment.
And I think environment for me was massive because you go to one of the events or especially the academy dinner and everyone's there and everyone's on the same wavelength type of thing. Everyone's trying to improve their lives, their business journey and property journey as well. And you're just around the right people to grow. So
yeah. How important do you think the right environment is? Being around, having other people that are working with you, supporting you, as opposed to just winging it on your own?
it's massive for me, I think, especially because initially my dad was like with the rent to rents and my parents were saying, oh, you know, if you were doing it on your own now you'd be making, but I kind of said, well, no, because without my business partners, Max and Tom, I wouldn't be able to scale that business the way I am just on my own.
Yeah,
So
it's like growth mindset, isn't it?
It's, you know, yeah, so that's what I feel like.
What would be your final words of wisdom to people watching this that are thinking, damn, property millionaire, 25, making the kind of money that you're making? I know it's just the beginning, but what would be your final kind of words of wisdom to help them get started?
Yeah, I would just say dive in. When you first get into property, you think that you've got to have a load of money to get involved. But as you say, deal selling costs nothing initially. But obviously to become compliant, I think you pay a couple £100 to become compliant. Obviously for me, I'm registered through PIMS and stuff like that, so that helps. When you join the academy, you're covered in all ways. But I think it would just be getting in the right room, getting around the right people who are on the same type of journey that you want to go on, or doing something 5-10 months ahead of what you're doing or want to do. So yeah, I would just say take action.
Makes sense. Finding someone that's 6 months ahead and being around those right people makes sense. Well, thanks for coming on. You've been an absolute awesome guest. And I really respect what you've done and looking forward to seeing you continue to win.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Love, bro.